So I'm continuing my video session for past papers, and I was doing 0620, that is IGCSE variant. I have selected the variant 41 and it's of May, June 2025. 41 means it's paper 4, theory extended version. The total time for this paper is 1 hour 15 minutes. You have to answer all the questions. You can use black or dark blue pen. You can use HB pencil for any diagrams or graphs. Do not use any erasable pen or correction fluid. Do not write on any barcodes. You may use calculator. You have to show all your workings and use appropriate units. The total mark for this paper is 80. Pure table is printed like this in the paper. So let's start the paper. Here's question number 1. A list of substances is shown. Answer the questions using the list of substances. So we have bauxite, calcium oxide, ethanol, graphite, methane, nitrogen, oxygen, propane, sulfur dioxide. Each substance may be used once, more than once, or not at all. State which of these substances is a basic oxide. Now, basic means it must be metal oxide. Now, there will be metals in the periodic table, you'll see. So these all form metals, they all form basic oxide except 3 metals, that is aluminium, lead, and zinc. They form amphoteric oxides. All the other metals, they form basic oxide. So if you look at the list, you can see there's calcium oxide here. It will form calcium basic oxide. So the calcium oxide is basic oxide. B contains carbon atoms only. Now they are talking about the allotrope of carbon. One of the allotrope I can see here in the list, that's graphite. The other allotropes are diagram and Buckminster Fury. C is manufactured by fermentation. You know, in fermentation, what you will get? We will get ethanol and carbon dioxide. So if you look at the list, you will find ethanol in the list. So I'm going to write ethanol here. D is produced by the decomposition of vegetation. During decomposition of vegetation, we will get carbon dioxide and methane. So I can see methane here. So I'm going to write methane. E contains aluminium oxide. Now they are definitely talking about an ore that's containing aluminium oxide. So if you look at the list, you'll find bauxite in the list, and bauxite is the one which contains aluminium oxide. F causes acid rain. You know that acid rain, all the non-metals form acid rain when they mix with rainwater. Formed by non-metal oxides. We have 3 exceptions, that is carbon monoxide, nitrogen monoxide, and water. They do not form acid rain because carbon monoxide and nitrogen monoxide, they are insoluble in water. So we are having non-metal oxides here. Yes, there is. That is sulfur dioxide. So I'm going to write sulfur dioxide here. G is a simple molecule with 11 atoms. Now for this, I need to draw the structures of some compounds here. Like they are saying molecule. Simple molecule means it must be covalent. So we are having covalent compounds here. as well as elements. So this is nitrogen. It can't be nitrogen. It does not have 11 atoms. Formula is N2. What about oxygen? O2, it's impossible. Propane. Propane is the third member of alkane. Propane is the third member of alkane. You know the general formula of alkane, CnH2n plus 2. The third member means C3H2 to the 2 3 are 6, 6 plus 2, 8. So C3H8, 8 plus 3, 11. So propane must be the right answer. There's no need to look at the other choices. It's a simple molecule with 11 atoms.
Welcome to Chain of Qualified Tutors. Unlock your academic potential with expert tutoring, from secondary school to graduation level. Master math, science, English, and more with personalized one-on-one guidance. Call or WhatsApp for a free demo session. We offer on-site and online tuition.
Ash is produced when limestone thermally decomposed in the blast furnace. Now this is limestone. The formula of limestone, CaCO3. It decomposes thermally in the blast furnace to produce calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So again, we are having calcium oxide. You see calcium oxide here. So you can write calcium oxide. We don't have carbon dioxide, so you can write calcium oxide. I is a gas that is approximately 21% of clean dry air. You know, 21% of clean dry air is oxygen. Oxygen is in the list. Yes, it is in the list. So you're going to write oxygen here. J is a monomer in addition polymerization. So addition polymerization, we need carbon-carbon double bond. So we look for any compound having this carbon-carbon double bond, and we have this one in the list, that is propene. It will form polypropene. So we have propene as the final answer. Move to next MCQ, which is number 2. Atoms are made of electrons, neutrons, and protons. A. Complete table 2.1. Now, relative charges for electron, proton. You know that electron is -1, proton it's +1. What about the relative mass? Neutron and proton both have same masses, that is 1. That's the easy one. B. Atoms of the same element are known as isotopes. So, we have isotopes of potassium. Complete table 2.2 to show the number of electrons, neutrons, and protons in one atom or ion of these isotopes. Now, this one is atom. This one is cation. Cation means positive ion. Positive ions are produced when electrons are lost. Okay, let's do this for the atom. So in K3919, we have, this is a proton number which indicates the number of electrons and protons should be 19. So I'm going to write 19 for electrons, 19 for protons. What about neutrons? I need to subtract this proton number from nucleon number. Here's the nucleon number. This is nucleon number. So 39 minus 19, what you will get? You will get 20. What about K plus? K plus proton number, you see it's given 19. So proton must be 19. What about number of neutrons? We need to subtract this proton number from nucleon number. 41 is a nucleon number this time. So 41 minus 19. What you will get? You will get 22. What about the number of electrons? You see it's carrying plus charge here, which means it has lost one electron. K plus mean lost one electron. You simply have to subtract one electron from this proton number. 19 is the proton number. So I'm going to subtract 1 from this, what I will get? I will get 18. Remember, plus indicates that electrons are lost. Minus sign indicates that electrons are gained. So whenever you see the positive sign, what you need to do? You will subtract the number from the proton number in order to get the number of electrons. Part 2. Table 2.3 shows the relative masses and the percentage abundances of the two isotopes in a sample of potassium. We have 90% of 39 and 10% of 41. Now they are saying calculate the relative atomic mass of this sample of potassium to one decimal place. You simply have to take the 90% of 39. So we have 90% of 39. How you're going to get it? 90 multiplied by 39 and divided by 100. What you will get? You will get 35.1 and 10% of 41. 10% of 41. For this, you need to multiply 10 by 41 and divided by 100. This is so easy. No need to use calculator. If you see number is 41, but 10% means 4.1. Now add these two numbers. What you will get? You will get 39.2. This will be the final answer. Number 3. An isotope of aluminium has a nucleon number of 27. Aluminium has a relative atomic mass of 27. State what conclusion can be made from this information. It definitely indicates that aluminium has only one isotope that has this nucleon number. So I'm going to write aluminium has only one isotope that has nucleon number 27. Stay in the line. Don't write outside this line. C. A calcium atom has an electronic configuration of 2882. Give the formula of one atom and one negative ion that has the same electronic configuration as Ca2+. Now, if you look at this electronic configuration, what does it indicate? If you add these numbers, what you will get? You will get 20. So if you look at the periodic table, which of the element has 20 as its atomic number? You look at this periodic table. For the atom of calcium, this one is the ion of calcium. For the atom of calcium, we have to look for the atom which has the same electronic configuration as Ca2+. So Ca2+ means it has lost 2 electrons. So you need to subtract 2 electrons from this. What you will get? You will get 18. So we have argon in the periodic table that has this same number of electrons. So Ar will be the symbol for this one. What about the negative ion? Negative ion means the atom that will form negative ion after gaining electrons. And that must have same number of electrons or same electronic configuration as Ca2+ ion. So if you look at this period, calcium is in 4th period. So we have to look for the elements in the 3rd period, that is non-metals, that will form this negative ion after gaining electrons. We can have phosphorus, sulfur, and Cl for this. We look at their proton numbers. Chlorine will form Cl negative ion after gaining 1 electron because it has 17 as its proton number, which means it has 17 electrons. So after gaining 1 electron, the electronic configuration becomes 18. So it will form Cl negative ion. What about sulfur? It will gain 2 electrons to have same electronic configuration as Ca2 plus ion. So this one must be S minus 2. What about phosphorus? Phosphorus 15, 15 plus 3. And will have same electronic configuration as Ca2 plus P minus 3. So what I'm going to write? P minus 3 or S minus 2 or Cl minus. You can write one of these. They are saying write the formula of one negative ion. So this will be the final answer. Question number 3. This question is about copper and compounds of copper. A1, describe the bonding in a metallic element such as copper. Now this is of 3 marks. So metallic bonding, you have to describe metallic bonding because this one is a metal. Metallic element means metal and it contains metallic bonding. Recall the definition of metallic bonding, then you can get the answer for this question. Metallic bonding, so you have strong electrostatic force. You have to mention the term or use the term strong electrostatic force. And it's between copper cation. Remember, you have to write copper ion or copper cation. Copper cation. And delocalized from mobile electrons. And mobile or delocalized electrons. So in this way, you're going to gain 3 marks. Moving to next part for this question, that is part 2. Explain how solid copper conducts electricity. Definitely is due to the presence of mobile or delocalized electrons, or you can even write electrons can move. You can write electrons can move or mobile or delocalized electrons. B. Copper is in alloys such as brass. 1. State one reason why alloys are more useful than pure metals. Definitely they are less malleable, less ductile, and this is due to the reason that they are harder or stronger than pure metals. So you can even write harder or stronger. Harder or stronger. To name the substance that is present in brass other than copper. This is something which you have to learn. Zinc is the other metal present in the brass. C. Copper 2 sulfate crystals are made by the reaction between copper 2 carbonate and dilute sulfuric acid using the following steps. The sulfuric acid has a concentration of 0.1 mole per dm cube. Powdered copper 2 carbonate is added to dilute sulfuric acid. The mixture is stirred, a reaction occurs. More copper 2 carbonate is added with stirring until the reaction stops. Unreacted copper 2 carbonate is separated from aqueous copper 2 sulfate by filtration. Aqueous copper 2 sulfate is heated until some of the water evaporates. The remaining solution is allowed to cool and crystallize. The crystals are removed and dried. To give 2 observations in step 1. So you have to write the observation for the reaction between copper 2 carbonate and dilute sulfuric acid. During this reaction, we will get what? We will get salt, and this salt must be of Cu plus 2 ion, carbon dioxide, and water. So they are saying you have to write any 2 observations. So any 2 from these. If you look at this carefully, carbon dioxide is produced, which is a gas, how we are going to observe the formation of this gas. You can write fizzing, effervescence, or bubbling. Fizzing or bubbling or effervescence. What else is happening? You see Cu2 plus ion is there in the solution. The salt contains Cu2 plus ion. The solution will definitely turn to blue. So you write blue solution. What else you can write? You can even write solid disappears or dissolves. Solid disappears or dissolves. Two, state why the reaction stops in step 2. Definitely all the acid has reacted. If you look at this, all the acid has reacted. That's why this reaction stops, because they have added more copper to carbonate until the reaction stops. So it means that all the acid has reacted. Acid is the limiting reactant in this. All the acid reacted. 3. Name the residue in step 3. So the residue must be of copper 2 carbonate, and that will be of unreacted. So I'm going to write unreacted copper 2 carbonate. Number 4, name a substance other than copper 2 carbonate that can be added to dilute sulfuric acid to produce aqueous copper 2 sulfate. Now, any substance other than copper 2 carbonate, you can take copper 2 hydroxide or copper 2 oxide. Anyone. Copper 2 oxide or copper 2 hydroxide. Part 5. The solution at the end of step 4 contains a maximum amount of copper 2 sulfate that will dissolve at that temperature. State the term used to describe this type of solution. We call it saturated solution. Number 6. Step 1 is repeated using sulfuric acid of concentration 0.2 mole per dm cube instead of 0.1 mole per dm cube. All other conditions are the same. The rate of reaction increases. Explain why the rate of reaction increases. Give your answer in terms of particle speed. Look at the difference. You have used higher concentration. So, and this one is of 2 marks. So what 2 points you are going to write? You're definitely having more particles per unit volume. More particles per unit volume. Definitely, then you will be having more collisions per unit time. More collisions per unit time. 7. Copper 2 sulfate crystals have the formula COSO4.5H2O. State the term used to describe a substance that is chemically combined with water. Hydrated. Question number 4. This question is about nitrogen and its compounds. Nitrogen contains molecules with the formula N2. Complete the dot and cross diagram in figure 4.1 to show the electronic configuration in a nitrogen molecule show outer shell electrons only. Here's the periodic table. Nitrogen is in group 5, which means it contains 5 valence electrons. Nitrogen contains 5 valence electrons. Need 3 electrons to complete. Valence shell. So these both will share 3 of their valence electrons with each other. Remember, you have to show all the valence electrons. So for the nitrogen atom on the right hand side, I'm using cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the nitrogen on the left hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B. Ammonia NH3 is manufactured by reacting nitrogen with hydrogen H2 in the Haber process. 1. State 3 typical conditions for the reaction between nitrogen and hydrogen in the Haber process. This is something which you have to learn. You can write the temperature, that is 450 degrees centigrade. What about the pressure? It's either 200 atmospheric pressure or 20,000 kPa, kilopascal. And catalyst, iron. Fe or iron is used as catalyst. 2. Write the simple equation for the chemical reaction in the Haber process. We have 1 moles of nitrogen gas and 2 with state symbol gas, 3 moles of hydrogen gas, 3H2 with state symbol gas, reversible sign. This reaction is reversible. Product is 2 moles of ammonia, 2NH3. It is also gas. C. Ammonia is converted into nitric acid in a 2-step process. In step 1, ammonia and oxygen are passed over a catalyst. 1. Balance the symbol equation for this reaction. So we have reactants and product. Make a column like this on the right hand side and write the symbol of each element. We have nitrogen here, hydrogen here, and oxygen. Now count the number of atoms of each element. Nitrogen on the left hand side, we have 4, and on the right hand side, we have none, 1. What about hydrogen? 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. And on the right hand side, that is product side, we have 2. Oxygen on the left hand side, we have 2. And on the right hand side, we are again having 2. So both nitrogen and hydrogen are unbalanced. So what if I'm going to write 4 before NO? I'm using the other color here, 4 before NO. So nitrogen becomes 4 now. Now nitrogen is balanced. What will happen to the oxygen now? 4 plus 1, 5. Oxygen is now unbalanced. We'll come back to oxygen. First, we'll check the hydrogen. Hydrogen is 12 on the left hand side. What if I'm going to write 6 before H2O? This will balance hydrogen. Now, what about oxygen? 4 plus 6, 10. Now it's 10. So simply put 5 before O2. Now this equation is balanced. Give the oxidation number of nitrogen in NH3 and NO. Now nitrogen, N is more electronegative than hydrogen, H, which means it has more power to attract electrons. And the element with having more power to attract electrons, it will carry minus charge here. And if you see that hydrogen, there are 3 atoms of hydrogen. So in order to balance these 3 hydrogen atoms, we need to put -3 on nitrogen. The more electronegative, atom, it will carry negative charge, more electronegative. Element carry negative, sorry, negative charge, and less electronegative element carry plus charge. So nitrogen will carry minus charge. So 3 atoms of hydrogen, it means it will definitely carry minus 3 charge here. What about NO? Where is O? If you look at the oxygen, position of oxygen, it's on the right hand side. The trend in electronegativity is that it increases along the period. O more electronegative than N. So if we know the charge on oxygen, we can easily predict the charge on nitrogen. Look at the position of nitrogen in the oxygen in the periodic table. It's in group 6, which means its valency is -2 or oxidation number is -2. So oxygen carrying -2, in order to balance -2, nitrogen must be having +2 charge. So I'm going to write +2. Define oxidation in terms of oxidation number. Increase in oxidation number is oxidation. So I'm going to write increase in oxidation number. Part 4. In step 2, oxygen and water react with NO to form nitric acid as the only product. Write a simple equation for this reaction. So we have oxygen and water reacting with NO. Oxygen will exist as O2. So I'm going to write O2 plus water. Formula water is H2O, and the reaction is with NO. The product is nitric acid. Formula of nitric acid is HNO3. Now let's balance this equation. Now let's balance hydrogen first. Hydrogen is 2 on the left hand side and 1 on the right hand side. So if I will place 2 before HNO3, will it balance the other elements? No, nitrogen. If I have to put 2 before NO. What about oxygen? 2 3 are 6. Now on the left hand side, 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. You can't balance it by having 5 atoms of oxygen on the left hand side and 6 on the right hand side. So I'm changing the number. Let's use, what if I will use 3? It will not help. What if I will use 4? If I will put 4 before HNO3, then I need to put 2 before H2O. This balances hydrogen. What about nitrogen? I need to put 4 before NO. Now let's count oxygen. On the right hand side, we have 4 3 the 12 atoms of oxygen. And on the left hand side, we have 4 plus 2, 6 atoms of oxygen. So 6 needs to be balanced. That makes 3. We'll put 3 before O2. Now this equation is balanced now. Ammonia is converted into ammonium sulfate, NH4 whole twice SO4. This is the reaction equation. 2 moles reacting with 1 mole of sulfuric acid to produce 1 mole of ammonium sulfate, which is NH4 whole twice SO4. 360 dm cube of ammonia gas measured at RTP reacts with excess sulfuric acid. Calculate the mass of ammonium sulfate produced. Use the following steps. You have to use the following steps. So first of all, they are asking us to calculate the number of moles of NH3 in 360 dm cube. We know any gas occupies a volume of 224 dm cube at RTP. So 24 dm cube occupied by 1 mole. Therefore, 360 dm cube occupied by X moles. To the cross, it will become X equal to 360 divided by 24. What you will get? We will get 15 as the moles of ammonia. Calculate the number of moles of NH4 whole twice SO4 produced. Look at the reaction equation. Here's the relation. NH3, NH4 whole twice SO4, 2 moles produces 1 mole. Therefore, 15 moles produces X moles to the cross. X is equal to 15 divided by 2, which means 7.5 moles of ammonium sulfate will be produced. In the last step, they expect us to calculate the mass. MR is provided, which is 32. Simply multiply 132 by 7.5 in order to get the mass. So the mass is 990 grams. Number 5, methanol CH3OH is manufactured by the reaction between hydrogen and carbon monoxide, and equilibrium mixture is produced. Here's the reaction equation. 2 moles of hydrogen reacting with 1 mole of carbon monoxide to produce 1 mole of methanol CH3OH. A. State what happens to the concentration of CH3OH when the reaction is at equilibrium. Explain your answer in terms of rate of forward and reverse reactions. Now at equilibrium, the rate of forward and reverse reactions become equal. So you will say does not change. The rate does not change or stay same. They're saying they are asking about the concentration. So write stay same or does not change. Rate of forward reaction and reverse reactions become equal. B. The reaction is carried out at a pressure of 75 atmosphere and a temperature of 250 degrees centigrade. State 2 disadvantages of using a pressure below 75 atmospheres. Now, they are asking us to tell the disadvantage. Now, if you have low pressure, what will happen? This decreases the rate. So straight away, you're going to write the point rate decreases. What else will happen? If you look at the equation, how many moles of gas on the reactant side? We have 2 plus 1, which makes us 3. Now on the product side, we have 1 mole, which means higher pressure will move the equilibrium to the right-hand side. Or you can even say we will get higher yield of methanol. If you decrease the pressure, this will decrease the yield of methanol. So I'm going to write yield of methanol. Part 2. Complete table 5.1 using only the words increases, decreases, or no change. What is the effect on the concentration of CH3OH at equilibrium if you are going to add catalyst? No change. That definitely it does not have any catalyst, does not have any effect on the concentration of product. What will happen to the rate of the reverse reaction? Catalyst increases the rate of reaction in either direction. So it will definitely increase. So we are going to write increases. 3. If temperature of more than 250 degrees centigrade is used, the yield of methanol decreases. State what can be deduced about the forward reaction. Now they are saying they are increasing the temperature. If they are increasing the temperature, the yield of decreases means equilibrium shifting to the reactant side. Equilibrium shift to left hand side, that is reactant side, or you can even say endothermic side. So if the reactant side is endothermic, the forward reaction must be exothermic. So you're going to write exothermic. Suggest which of the elements from the list is a suitable catalyst for the reaction. Give a reason for your choice. If you look at the list, we have barium, carbon, copper, potassium, sulfur. So here's a periodic table, and here is the transition elements. Transition elements makes good catalyst. So if you look at this list, you will find copper here. So it must be copper. You can't have other elements. So what about the reason? So for the reason, you can write transition element. As I just said, transition elements, they make good catalysts. Part C. Methanol is a member of the homologous series of alcohols. One, state two characteristics of all members of homologous series. You can write any two of these. They have same functional group. There's a trend in physical properties. Same chemical properties. Same method of preparation. Same method of preparation. You can write any two from these. There are other points also. You can even write each member differs by CH2 group or same general formula. For your convenience, I'm writing it down. Same general formula. Members differ by CH2 group. State the molecular formula of an alcohol that contains 5 carbon atoms. The general formula of alcohol, it's CnH2n plus 1 OH. Putting the value of 5 in this formula, what you will get? C5H2 multiplied by 5, 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. H11OH. Or you can even write C5H12O. The carboxylic acids react with alcohols to form esters. Draw the discrete formula of an ester which contains 3 carbon atoms. Now they are saying total of 3 carbon atoms. So esters are also known as alkyl alkenoate. Alkyl alkenoate. So if they are saying ester which contains 3 carbon atoms, so what are the possibility? You can have either methyl ethanoate or ethyl methanoate. Both of these contains 3 carbon atoms. Now they expect us to draw the displayed formula. So for the methyl ethanoate, methyl group, this one is the methyl group, CH3, and ethanoate must be of 2 carbon, O, C double bond O, and CH3. Or you can draw ethyl methanoate. So you are having CH3, CH2, COH here. All these are H. So you can draw any of these. Both of these are correct. 2-butyl ethanoate is an ester. Name the alcohol and the carboxylic acid that react to produce butyl ethanoate. So this one is the alkyl group. It comes from alcohol. And this one is the alkanoate. It comes from carboxylic acid. So the alcohol with 4 carbon must be the alcohol. So you have butanol here. What about the carboxylic acid? We have ethanoate. It must be coming from ethanoic acid. E. An organic compound has the following composition by mass. Calculate the empirical formula of the compound. We have C, we have H, and we have O. For C, we are having 64.87%. For hydrogen, it's 13.51. For oxygen, it's 21.62. So first step, you need to divide it by the AR. Carbon, here is carbon, here is carbon. AR is 12. And for hydrogen, it's 1. And oxygen, it's 16. So you have 12 for carbon, 1 for hydrogen, and 16 for oxygen. For carbon, what we will get? 64.87 divided by 12, 5.405. 5.405. Hydrogen will get 13.51. For oxygen, 21.62 divided by 16. 1.351. 1.351. So the smallest value is 1.351. 1.351. 1.351. All will be divided by 1.351. And the final ratio will be 4, 10, 1. So final formula, empirical formula will be C4H10O. So question number 6. This question is about the periodic table. A, state the name given to group 7 elements. So it's group 7. And you know that it's known as halogens. So I'm going to write halogens here. B, state which group 7 element is most reactive. Now the first element is fluorine. It's most reactive because in this group, if you go down, the reactivity decreases. So fluorine will be more reactive. You can either write the formula or name of this element. They all are diatomic. That's why I'm writing F2. See, give the physical state and color of iodine at room temperature and pressure. Now in this group, you have to learn the color. That is fluorine, light yellow, chlorine, yellow-green, bromine, reddish-brown or orange. Iodine is gray-black or purple. Astatine and tennessine are black solids. So for the state of iodine at room temperature, it's solid. And for the color, you can either write gray-black or purple. Or D. When bromine is added to aqueous potassium iodide, a displacement reaction occurs. The equation for the reaction is shown. Write an ionic equation for the reaction. Now, iodine is below bromine. So in this group, the trend is that the reactivity decreases, which means the halogen or top of the halogens will be able to displace the halogen below it from their compounds. So if you look at this equation, we have Br2 plus 2 moles of Ki gives 2 moles of Kbr plus I2. So for the ionic equation, I need to separate the charge ions in this equation. So I'm going to write Br2 plus K belongs to group 1. So it must be carrying Here's K. Here's K. It belongs to group 1. It must be carrying plus charge. So I will write 2 moles of K plus. And group 7, they have -1 as their valency. So they will definitely form minus ion. So we have 2 moles of I minus plus gives 2 moles of K plus ion plus 2 moles of Br minus ion. You see on the right hand side, Br replaced iodine, that is I, plus I2. Now, these two are the spectator ions. They are common or spectator ions or spectator ions. So you have to cancel out these. Whatever left will be the final ionic equation. So Br2 plus 2I minus gives 2Br minus plus I2. 2. Iodine and bromine react at high temperatures to form iodine monobromide, IBR. The equation is shown. You see 1 mole of iodine reacting with 1 mole of bromine to produce 2 mole of IBR, that is iodine monobromide. The structures of the molecules involved in the reaction are I bond I, comma, Br bond Br, and I bond Br. Table 6.1. This table 6.1 is showing the bond energy in kilojoule per mole for these bonds. Calculate the enthalpy change delta H for the reaction using the bond energies in table 6.1. Use the following steps. Calculate the total amount of energy required to break the bonds in 1 mole of I2 and 1 mole of Br2. So you simply need to add these two. For I2, we have 150. And for Br2, we have 193, which gives 343. Next, calculate the total amount of energy released when bonds in 2 mole of IBr are formed. So we need to multiply 2 by 175. 2 multiplied by 175. 350. Calculate the enthalpy change delta H for the reaction. Your answer should include a sign. Now, what will be the formula? Energy needed to break bonds minus energy released when bonds are made. So 343 minus 350. 343 minus 350. You will get -7. -7 kilojoule per mole will be the final answer. Party. Sodium is in group 1 of the periodic table. When a sodium is added to water, a chemical reaction occurs. 1. Give 2 observations when sodium is added to water. So you can write any 2 of these observations. Sodium is in group 1. We know that these metals dissolve and float when added to water, and we'll see bubbles, and we will also see the color due to the ions of this sodium. So you can write solid floats or disappears, solid floats or disappear. Yellow flame due to the sodium, presence of the sodium. You see bubbles. You can even write melts, solid melts, solid metal melts, solid melts. So you can write any 2 from these. Number two, thymophylline is added to the solution when the reaction has finished. State the final color of the thymophylline in the solution. So this is the indicator. So that gives different color in acids and alkalis. Now the solution, what you are getting when you are adding sodium to water, we have alkaline solution. So for the alkaline solution, the thymophylline color will be blue. Thanks for watching. Press like and share my videos. For more videos, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon.